And now our continuing series on the greatest artists of all time. And at number 65, the Kinks. In 2004, in the Rolling Stone magazine, Peter Buck, lead guitarist of REM, wrote, "I've got pretty much every note the Kinks recorded on my iPod, certainly everything through 1980, and it all sounds good. The Kinks are the only major band from the 60s I can think of that didn't go psychedelic, didn't do any of that crap that all the other big bands did at the time. When everyone was writing song cycles about Eastern mysticism, Ray Davies was writing about a 2-up, 2-down flat in some English suburb. Ray wrote songs about the things that were important to him. He invented his world and gave it life. And in that world, people weren't wearing Nehru jackets, smoking pot, and jamming for 24 hours a day. The Kinks created a different world, and I'm glad they did it." When I first heard Village Green Preservation Society in 1971, I got this picture in my head of a small-town English life, village greens, draft beer. But when REM went to England in 1985, I drove through Muswell Hill, and it certainly wasn't romantic looking. I had this picture of a gorgeous vista when it's really kind of a grimy area. I realized these songs were all acts of imagination, that Ray was commemorating an England that was slipping away. There's a great air of sadness in those songs. I was amazed at how great the Kinks records sounded, even though when you listen closely, there's very little going on in them. Village Green is the best example. Unlike a lot of records of its time, it's not stuff with a ton of instruments, and yet the songs are perfectly realized and well arranged. Ray wrote "You Really Got Me" on piano. Then he gives it to his brother Dave, this teenage maniac who turns it into a demented guitar part. I read that an interviewer once asked Dave if he thought the Kinks had gone heavy metal in the 80s. He said, "It wasn't called heavy metal when I invented it. When REM started out, Dave's solo on that song was the only solo I knew how to play. So whenever I had to do a solo, I'd just play that." Peter Buck concludes, "The Kinks slipped into rock history through the back door. All those great albums that we talk about now, like Face to Face, Something Else by the Kinks, and Village Green, nobody bought those records in the 60s, but those of us who love records, and a lot of us are musicians, have loved them for decades." The Kinks, brothers Dave and Ray Davies, with Pete Quaife on the bass, with Bobby Graham playing drums on this track. It's from their 1965 album, Kinda Kinks. Our song for today, Tired of Waiting for You, was a #1 hit in the UK and number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100. According to Ray, the music for the song was written on the train to the recording studio, and the words were written at a coffee shop during a break in the session. It's our continuing series on the greatest artists of all time. And at number 65, the Kinks.
Till I met you, but you keeping me waiting all of the time. What can I do? It's your life, and you can do what you want. Do what you like, but please don't keep me waiting. Please don't keep me waiting. Me waiting all of the time. What can I do? It's your life, and you can do what you want. Do what you like.